Hey, what's up guys, my name is Hansol, and in today's video I'll be going over the talents and glyphs that I'll be choosing for Fire Mage in patch 5.2. So the first build I'll be going over is my arena build. And in the arena build I like to take Presence of Mind. Palm is really good for instant CCs with Polymorph and Ring of Frost, along with controlled burst with Pyros when needed. I like to get a Hot Streak proc, Palm, then Alter Time, instant sweep the healer, deep freeze, throw Pyros into the target, and if the healer trinkets a poly, Alter Time and re-palm sweep the healer since you get 2 palms with Alter Time. Next up is Ice Barrier. Ice Barrier is really good for stopping huge bursts unlike Flame Glow, but the only downside of this talent is that it's purgeable, so versus cleaves like Turbo Cleave or any really purgy comps, I'll probably be taking Flame Glow. But overall, Ice Barrier is a really good defensive cooldown. Next up is Frostjaw. Frostjaw is really good and helps get shatter combos, which means more damage, and it can also be used as a blanket silence. I like to palm Frostjaw and defreeze from range, almost like a Frost Mage, because normally for a Fire Mage, if you want to defreeze a target, you need to get close to them, then Nova them to defreeze them. But with the palm Frostjaw setup, you can land kills much easier and instantly peel when needed. Next up is Cold Snap. Obviously this is a easy choice because Cold Snap gives you 2 blocks and also a 30% heal, instant heal, which is very good, and it saves my life a lot in arena, so I think it definitely beats the other 2 choices in that tier. For the bomb tier, in arenas I like to take Living Bomb. It does pretty good damage. Honestly, Nether Tempest probably does more damage, but the only problem I have with it in arenas is that it breaks polymorph. So when you're playing a comp that requires a lot of chain CC, like God comp or just a lot of comps out there that requires chain CC, what Nether Tempest does is, for example, if you put it on a DK and you polymorph the healer, the DK can easily just run to their healer and bounce Nether Tempest onto them, and it'll break the polymorph. So it can really mess you up, and I hate when that happens. Living Bomb can do that as well, but only on the last tick is when it explodes, so it's not as often. And not many people really notice that anyway, so yeah, Living Bomb is definitely the choice of bomb you'll take for arenas. Last but not least is Incanter's Ward. This gives you 30% increased spell damage for 15 seconds when they break the barrier, and it only absorbs 20k damage, so it's easily broken. But it's not really used for the absorption, it's mainly used for the spell damage increase. So if you can apply this buff while you're bursting, it can really help land a kill, because 30% spell power is pretty huge. And also for the glyphs, defreeze now, as many of you guys may know, lasts 5 seconds, but if you take the glyph it only lasts 4 seconds. But what it does is it takes a defreeze and makes it no longer on a global cooldown, so you can spam it while using other abilities. So this is really important, especially in high rated arena, because when you Frost Nova a target and you're trying to defreeze, good healers like Holy Patties will instantly free them out before you can even defreeze or just dispel themselves out of the Nova. So pretty much this Glyph of Defreeze is kind of needed at high MMR. Maybe not at lower MMR arenas, but at high MMR it's really important to get it off. Next up is Glyph of Polymorph, obviously, because it takes off dots when you polymorph them, which allows poly to not break. This goes along with the Nether Tempest Living Bomb rule that I was talking about earlier. And then last one is Glyph of Armors, and what that does is it increases the defensive effect of each armor by additional 10%. So pretty much when you're versing cleaves and you have molten armor on, you'll be taking 10% less damage from physical. So this is really huge. It's pretty much like having a lot more resilience. I used to use Glyph of Evo, but mostly in arenas you never really get a chance to heal with Evo, and you have a healer with you anyways, unless you're running like triple DPS. So there you have it guys, that is my arena spec. Next up I'll be going over my RBG spec. So for the first tier, instead of Presence of Mind, I like to take Blazing Speed, because it gives you a lot of mobility in RBGs. Like for example, in Warsong Gulch, if you're trying to catch up to the enemy FC, you can sometimes blink is just not enough, so you can Blazing Speed and blink to catch up, and then Nova them and defreeze them, and then that gives time for your partners to catch up to you and help you kill the FC. Or it helps you just push in with Blazing Speed, Dragon's Breath their whole team if they're stacked up, and then blink back out. So it's good to, you know, use it offensively and defensively when you need to, like, when you're taking huge damage and you need to pull out of there. Also, right now I have it to Ice Barrier, but Flame Glow is really good for RBGs because Flame Glow is a passive ability, which means you don't have to waste a global cooldown to apply it to yourself, which allows you to stay offensive. So every global you use, you can just use it as an offensive spell, like dot everything or, you know, get power procs. It allows you to min-max a lot more. Next is Ring of Frost. Obviously, because Ring of Frost versus big wars, like big fights in RBGs, you can, you know, CC their whole team. Instead of Blazing Speed, you can also take Palm Ring, which is nice, but I just really like to use Blazing Speed. So yeah, Ring of Frost with beams and AoE grips is a very good combo in RBGs. And once again, Cold Snap, because I really like Cold Snap. Like I said earlier, it beats the other two. And in RBGs, Nether Tempest is good because, you know, you're not going to be polying as much as you would be in arenas. And Living Bomb, you can only put it up to 3 targets at once. Where in the Nether Tempest, you can like put it up to their whole team. So whenever you don't have pyro procs or you're trying to build pyros, in between you can just be dotting everything with Nether Tempest to keep your damage rolling and keep the enemy healers on their toes. And also last is going to be Incanter's Word again, just because that 30% spell power is just really good. It's going to help you keep your damage up there in the charts. And for the glyphs, once again I am using Glyph of Defreeze. But for the second glyph, I like to use Glyph of Infernal Blast to spread my dots to an additional target, which, you know, gives you more damage. In RBGs, it's really important to do good damage, as well as, you know, using your brain for strats and all. But if you're going for ninjas on like a node capping map, and if you're not doing like a Warsong Gulch or Flake capping map, you should change this glyph to a polymorph glyph. That way you can ninja cap with polymorphs. And then last one is Glyph of Ice Block. What it does is, once you get out of Ice Block, it instantly Frost Novas everything around you. So it lets you get away. So you can just, when you get out of Ice Block, you'll Nova everything around you, and then you can Blazing Speed and run away. And it also makes you immune to all spells for 3 seconds. That way, you know, you don't get global once you come out of Ice Block. And one good thing about the Nova is you can Shatter combo out of it, like Scorch, Infernal Blast, and get an instant proc. So it definitely helps. So there you go, guys. Those are my 2 arena and RBG specs. I hope I was able to help you guys out, and more videos to come. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Good luck out there, guys. Have fun in Season 13.